can you tell them, in your experience, how do you effectively prioritize marketing efforts to maximize the impact without sacrificing some of their responsibilities? How do you do that for yourself?
Uh, so I think good marketing, you always need a strategy. You have a strategy, then you have your marketing tactics next. And I see one mistake that a lot of newbie entrepreneurs make is they don't have a strategy. They just start doing stuff. So the strategy, a strategy that's really effective, I learned from a guy called Jay Abrahams. Jay Abrahams was a entrepreneur, business coach, and consultant, and he grew businesses that made billions of dollars and lots of different innovative, out the box type thinking. I learned a strategy from him, which is quite simply you can grow a business by three ways. First way is acquiring new customers. Second way is to sell your existing customers more time, so frequency of purchase. And the third way is to increase the purchase or the basket spend when they're purchasing off you. In e-commerce, they call it the average order value. And so that's the strategy and like these three metrics. And so what happens is you have one tactic every month. You improve each of those metrics by implementing one tactic. And so you'd have a tactic to increase the average order value. You'd have a tactic to increase the number of new customers you get. You'd have the tactic to improve the lifetime value, i.e., means the amount of times a customer purchases off you in a year. So you'd have a tactic for each of them. And then when you combine them together, you get compound growth, i.e., it's not a 10% growth. If you're improving everything by 10% and you get a 10% growth, by applying the strategy, you get 33%. And so you're getting these dramatic growths every month if you just keep implementing. And it's easy because you just focus on one tactic. You don't have to make it too complex. So that's the strategy that I advocate for, or one of them. Mm-hmm. And the tactics we would apply, I recommend applying it around customer acquisition. So that's getting new customers under that strategy, is to understand that 97% of your ideal customers or your target market or your customer avatar aren't in the buying mode. 97. So only 3% are ready, they know they've got a problem, and they're looking for a solution. So that leaves, what do you do with the other 97%? And
you do about them.
Yeah, what you do is like you educate them. You educate to build a relationship and stay top of the mind. So that's really, really important. Most people try and sell them, and I see the newbie entrepreneurs like pumping out ads, and I don't know what you're like, but I don't want to read or absorb ads all the time. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's education and it's relevant to what I'm doing, okay, that's more interesting to me. So I'm more likely to engage with it. So education should be the tactic that you should do. Mm-hmm. And you should use it to build your relationships and stay top of mind. And you can do this by repurposing existing content that you have. So this is getting down to the operational elements. So strategy, tactic, now we're implementing the operations. So you repurpose your existing content, i.e. your social media posts, written content, blog posts, podcast interviews. You repurpose it and turn it into more content. And you use an automated content scheduler. They call it an autoresponder, is the jargon for it in the e-commerce. And you use that to schedule when those posts go out, when your repurposed contents go out. And then you, as a result of that, you gather social proof from your existing customers and past customers, and you use paid ads to amplify it. Mm. So you're taking your testimonials and you're using paid dollars not to sell your product, but to get your customers singing your praises.
I'd like to talk about them more later on. Social proof.
No worries. Yeah. And I think the other big thing as part of the tactic is you've got to put in the amount of volume. Most people underestimate the amount of volume that's required to make things work. I have lots of clients that come and say, hey, it's not working. The strategy, I've gone out and I've repurposed, I put content out, and so have you been consistent? Like, are you doing it every day? And they go, oh, no, I'm only doing it 3 days a week. I'm like, no, you've got to do it every day. and in some platforms, 4 times a day. So,
Wow.
that's the huge volume. Or if you're doing cold email outreach or direct messaging outreach, you have to do 100. But you should be doing 100 per day. So that's sort of volumes that you need to get cut through and to filter out. So anyway, that's
Yeah,
our tactic in a
it's
one
good how you're
strategy.
able to simplify it. Love it. Like acquire customers, you need to have a process for that one. Know how to retain your customers, increase their lifetime value. It's good how you point out the use of education, to build relationships with them, not to sell to them constantly. It's really good. And of course, the increase of average order value.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've got the curse of knowledge. There's a million tactics that you can apply. It really does come down
Yeah.
to the context. So normally when I'm coaching a client, what I'm doing is I diagnose first. So I try and understand their context, where they're at, what they're trying to achieve, what barriers or handbrakes are, what are the potential ways that they can accelerate their progress to the goal. Once I understand that by asking a range of diagnostic questions, then I'm able to personalize the tactics. So the tactics I've given you there with the strategy, that'll work across most businesses. And it doesn't matter whether you're a service business or a e-commerce business or a physical business.